Okay, I had to get a video of this spot because I found it really interesting. Between Laketon and Disko, Indiana, along the Erie Lackawanna right-of-way, they had a 2-track main line that went to Chicago. But in this area, along the line, there was one track that was higher than the other. It had grade separation, and you can see it up the road here. There's a telegraph pole from where the tracks used to be. So we would have been coming up on a 2-level railroad crossing right here. There would have been a track probably right here at ground level, and then there's a slight mound here, which you can actually see in the road. But yeah, there's also a telegraph pole. And then there's a signal down that way, the famous signal tower. And I'll be over there in a minute. Here I am, west of Laketon, Indiana, along the Erie Lackawanna right-of-way. And here's the RX Interlocking signal bridge. It was installed in 1959, right before the Erie Lackawanna merger. And the track actually split off into 2 right here. Just down the signal block, there's another one down in those trees, but it's just a single searchlight. Anyway, it's one of the most interesting artifacts still standing out here, along with a lot of telegraph poles. I don't know if you can see them. Well, no, you probably can. County Road 700 West Overpass. Just about a mile west of Disko, Indiana. 2-level overpass on the Erie Lackawanna right-of-way. Looks like its days are numbered. Hadn't been used in about 36 years, so kind of makes sense. But for the high westbound track, there's a concrete arch over the roadway, and then for the lower eastbound track there was a steel girder span. Amazing it's managed to make it through all these years, but looks like it won't be around much longer. Road's closed off, and the stone's been crumbling. Same overpass. So you can see they still left about half the ties in the eastbound span. And here's the roadway arch on the westbound span. And here it is, looking north. Recently cleared trees. That really tells you they're gonna take it down if they clear the trees out. Shame. But I've been here a good number of times the past couple of years, so got to enjoy them while they were here. Okay, I'm coming up on the town of Disko now. And the Erie Lackawanna main lines used to cross right here, believe it or not. Got evidence in both directions. And the station would have been right here, from what I've been told. Okay, this road used to turn off to the right, and there was a little jog in the road. It was a bridge that went over both of the tracks. There are a few pictures that were taken from that bridge, but the highway was straightened out in the mid-80s after the tracks were removed. And tracks would have crossed right here. You can see that deep ditch right there. That would have been down there. Okay, now I'm west of Disko, well, northwest. And you can see the 2 grades of the main lines extremely well out here. Just a couple segments ago when I mentioned the area where the station was in Disko, tracks leveled out there, and then they swapped grades again out here. But at the opposite heights of where they were before, to the east of here. I'm here east of Akron, Indiana now, on County Road 300 South, and there is a dog barking at me. And geese are honking. There used to be a bridge over the tracks right here. There was a little jog in the road where the bridge crossed over the tracks, and once again that's been straightened out with the road over time. But you can see the grade separation here. Westbound track would have been deep down, and up here at the top of the mound would have been the eastbound track. Paul Geiger actually got footage in 1976 of a train crossing the tracks in this very area. Changed a lot, hasn't it? We're still east of Akron, Indiana. And here we have the County Road 225 South bridge, which apparently is a private driveway now. But it used to pass over both tracks. There's still a lot of telegraph poles down there, but I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to show you that. But left behind also is the radio communication tower for the railroad. Okay, I'm just outside Akron, and it looks like there are a bunch of rails around here used as property markers. And considering we're pretty close to where the tracks used to be, I'm guessing those are Erie Lackawanna rails. Still just east of Akron. I'm on the 1275 East bridge. Apparently this was an old style metal bridge that went over the tracks, but here just outside Akron the tracks began to reach the same levels again. Sadly, it looks like this place has turned into a dump and then been abandoned right where the tracks used to be. Also, apparently there is milepost 157 over on this side of the bridge along where the tracks were, but as you can see, the brush has grown a little too high for me to be able to find it. I also forgot to mention that Sandy Goodrick got a photo in this spot on July 4th, 1951. Once again, just a little different, huh? The Erie Lackawanna Depot in Akron, Indiana. Obviously it's been repainted and it's just sitting here empty, no tracks or anything. Not sure what it's used for, if anything. Athens, Indiana. An extremely small town. I'm not sure where the station used to be, but we're looking west down the right-of-way. And then we're looking east down the right-of-way, but I think the station was here. Anyway, Athens is full of telegraph poles. Look at that. It's pretty much the only remnant there is at all in Athens. We're now in Rochester, Indiana, looking at the railroad crossing on Old 31, and we still have an Erie Lackawanna era gated crossing signal. I mean, you can tell by that topper that it's pretty old. There's a starling panting, because it's actually kind of hot today. There are telegraph poles. The Erie Depot in Rochester. It's been here for a long time. Amazed it's still here, considering the shape it's in. In spots you can see Erie Lackawanna red paint still on it. And one of the tracks is still here. Used for what I think is the Elkhart and Western? I don't know, I forget. An old stone relay cabinet of some kind. Original lamp. Lots of original woodwork. Even an old platform and everything. It's really sad looking at the shape the track is in and thinking that passenger trains used to fly right past this spot sometimes. Looks an old door. Some red paint. Still an old style flasher signal with the cat's eye reflectors on the crossbuck from the Erie days. Not too often you see one of these left behind. Pretty rusty. WRRS. It's pretty common. And no reflectors on this side. Looking east from the station, you can see the old grain plant building. Looks pretty weird now. There's also a water tower base. Doors boarded up and everything. You don't see those left behind much either. So here's a picture in the 70s of where I'm standing right now, taken by Larry DeYoung. Let's see, doesn't look like it has a date on it, but here's the same spot now.